Hey, how's it going out there? I don't know how many of you guys are sports fans. For me, I played like a lot of people when they were young, in school, and I've kind of gotten in and out of sports. I loved the NFL at one time, and I kind of lost interest. And then I got really into college football, and not so much anymore. And I had a streak in the '90s where I was really into the NBA during those Jordan years. I just wanted to talk about how money, in particular billionaires, has worked its way into our entertainment lives now, and how things have changed over time. But sports are great. I mean, these elite athletes, to be able to watch these guys, the best at what they do, and it's such a slim margin. Hardly anybody can reach that elite level. It's just so it's really something to behold to go watch them. And the stadiums these days, the 4K TVs, the sushi bars, it's just a luxury everywhere, right? And so it's kind of a cool experience. And they're even trying to package, some family nights deals where they're trying to make it affordable or appear affordable. And so that's all good, right? So we should be good with this. Well, I'm not buying that. I don't know how you guys feel about it. And I'm not whining. I can go to a game if I want, but my whole point is, when billionaires, they've just squeezing the juice out of our healthcare, our housing, utilities, and they're just in every part of your life for more and more money for themselves and less for us. I'm just pointing out facts. I'm getting a lot of comments of people saying, "Quit your whining." And I think we should all be pointing out these facts. I'm not whining. I'm okay. I'm doing all right, better than most people. So that's not it. But to point these facts out, if you don't like them, sorry, but it is what it is. The owners. The owners have always been kind of an elite level of business. They've been millionaires. They used to be, and now by and large, most of them are billionaires. And as time has gone by, we've been seeing this for decades now. The owners get in there, they decide they need a new stadium, and so what do? They try and get it funded through our tax dollars. And then they hold the fans hostage. So if you don't pay for their new playhouse, they threaten to move and go to another city. So it's this constant game. But when they do get their new stadiums, and they usually do, there's certain times they don't, then they have other events in there. Taylor Swift can come to town, and then, they make all the lease money for all these other events. The owners do this. The taxpayers don't get that back, or they usually don't. When money gets into everything, I think it just kind of changes the culture of the sports, And fans, a regular fan, they can't go regularly to games anymore. A family, it's just not affordable. It's just not realistic. And owners know that, and they don't care. They'll deal with that because they're just trying to get as much money as they can. They don't need one family to go to 41 games and spend what they can. They need 41 different families to go and spend 5 times as much money. That's what they're hoping for, So, and the revenue, by the way, from what I've read and researched on this, they don't really rely on the gate so much anymore. They rely on media deals. They have huge media deals now. The NBA, $76 billion over 11 years for a media deal? The NFL, $12 billion per year? It's huge. So their revenue is basically with media, which comes from advertisement, and so forth. So even in some of these basketball arenas, man, if you catch the right camera angle, these places are pretty empty. And owners, they don't even need it full. They just need it to look full so they can sell it on TV because they're good what they can out of the gate, but it doesn't have to be packed, and they aren't packed. So, I just feel like owners, they've switched from a growth model where they tried to grow their product and make their money doing it that way, their revenue. They've grown it, they've changed it to an extraction model where their goal is just to get as much money out of everybody any way they can. And it seems kind of counterproductive to me that a lot of these NBA cities, they black their local games out from their own fans. So let me get this straight. Your business strategy is to hide your product from your fans? I mean, I guess it's working now, but is that sustainable? How are you supposed to build a culture of kids that want to, go to your games, invest in your product, buy merch or whatever, when you're hiding the product from them? It seems like you would want as many eyeballs on them as possible. Even if you're not making a killing up front, it seems to me like the back end is going to pay off. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a billionaire, that's for sure. But it's causing, people are looking at sports. Younger people now, Gen Z, only 30% people watch full games. They just get the TikTok highlights, just bits and pieces of what's going on. Is that really, are you really making a connection to a team and players that way when you're just getting the frosting? You're not really invested into, the entire game. And so, my point in this is just that when capitalism runs wild and everything's for profit and everything's concentrated just to the top, I think it's just kind of rots our entire culture on things. And sports is one of them where I think it's just kind of losing its appeal. At least it is for me. And I get it. It's not my right to go to a fucking game. I get it. I'm not saying that everybody needs to be able to go for free, and these guys aren't allowed to make money. I'm just pointing out how the billionaires have kind of changed the culture of the game and how fans are interacting with it. That's all. And I mean, you can say that isn't true, but it sure appears that way to me. Most younger people I know, they're really not into pro sports anymore. And, I just think that, the other thing the owners have done, which is crazy, is the gambling aspect of things. Gambling used to be totally taboo in pro sports. You didn't talk about it. There was a lot of controversy, and Pete Rose. It's been all kinds of events that's happened over time with the sports refs and the NBA, and gambling. You did not want to talk about that for the longest time. Now they're in bed with these gambling companies. They've got deals together, and they're not even hiding it. And another thing I did read is you notice the commentators on the games, they bring up the spread. You never saw that 20 years ago. No. They're bringing up the spread of the game. And from what I read, they're bringing it up for one reason. They're obligated to do that due to contracts with DraftKings or whatever the deal may be. So they're in business together to make more money. So, gambling is a big part of their revenue now. So, at the end of the day, it just seems like it's not a sustainable business model to kind of almost abuse your fans. You're not embracing the youth to want to like your product in the future. I may be all wrong on it, but that's how it seems to me. And it's just, again, when capitalism runs amok, it just infiltrates into everything, and it does not make the working class and just normal people's lives better. It makes it worse. We were supposed to be able to go to games as a means of escape. Now you can't even do that because they're gouging you. Even if you do get a good deal to go to a game, it's $50 to park and $18 beers and Jesus. So there's no such thing as really going to an affordable ball game. I mean, I guess there's a few cases in pro baseball where you could get some nosebleed seats in an afternoon, but if you can ride a subway there. But anyway, that's just kind of my observation. And again, I may be all wrong, but I hope everybody's safe out there, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.